And we are live. We are live. Patel Philippe in the chat. Where's Higgy and Perf? Well, I know who Higgy is, but I don't. Oh, Perf Luxury from the Perf Luxury Live. I don't know where Perf is, man. He is MIA. MIA, just like so many other people who abandoned the community. We have 4 viewers. It's a new record, folks. Do not subscribe. You could hit the upvote button, but do not subscribe. I did check it out because I saw in the chat that he was exploding. Is that still going on? I don't want to be preempting any viewers over there because it is 9:15. That is some explosion. I saw that the ratings are up. It looked like there was a large number of viewers, so that works. There's the formula. It's done? Okay. I hope, hey, maybe that was a seminal moment there. Maybe that was a wake-up call. What's going on, Robert? As usual, my mic just dropped out and muted for no reason. So what are we doing on here? Well, I thought that GMT was going to come on and do an unboxing, but it's slated for tomorrow night. I might not be around, so I thought I'd fire up a stream that nobody watches. You can catch it on the replay. I have no really set agenda for this show other than it's Juneteenth, and my office is closed tomorrow, whereas the rest of the country observed Juneteenth. If they had their offices closed, it's a federal holiday today, so it's kind of flip-flopped, and I might be heading to the shore. But since this is, I guess, a satellite Rogue One channel of the Watch Hangout, the JJ verse. What am I wearing? Well, I am wearing the standard issue Sea Dweller 16600. Love putting this on. I had the Pepsi on earlier today. Always a fun watch. And I have the Sea Dweller. So I love this. In fact, though, here's the thing. I may have to tighten it up and move it one notch because this is a little more jingly-jangly than I usually have. Usually it's kind of flush against my wrist. I don't want it too tight, so I don't want it to choke the wrist, which is what I used to do. And then I said, you got to let it breathe. So I moved it in the clasp one position because this has that jingly-jangly clasp, and you have to use your tool or, a toothpick to kind of move this piece out. And then it might be too tight. So it's always a struggle without a glide lock or a micro adjust. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? Is that a little too loose for you guys? I wear it really on the bone. That's just the way my wrist is. It's not, I know people are below. Maybe it's a little below, but definitely not up here. I definitely do not wear my watches up here. I wear it pretty much over that little bone. Favorite watch in my collection? Ooh, that's a tough call. I like all my watches. I tend to rotate them quite a bit, and if something's not getting enough wrist time, I switch it up when I realize I haven't been wearing a watch in a bit, and I'm now gonna multitask and pull up Robert Wood. The watch of the day, the flavor of the week or flavor of the month has been my Sea Dweller, probably because it's the newest, oldest watch in my collection. It's not the oldest, but it's older. So I've been wearing this the most. I pulled out the Pepsi, was wearing this today, so this is always a good one. So I really don't play favorites, man. If I had to keep only one, I'd keep my OG sub just because I've had it since 2000. I love my Royal Oak as well. And VC Overseas Blue and the Patek. It's probably those four, and I guess the Pepsi would go in that scenario. Hulk would go. I have the Omega Tokyo would go. Day 36 Gold would go, and the Champagne. So I guess that would be it. You keep the Trinity and a Rolex, but that's not enough Rolex. So I'd have to think about that. Tiger Tail. Hey guys. Hey Tiger Tail, man. Good to see you on this channel. Glad you are aboard. Anyone can hop on the panel. Let me share. I think this is the link. If I just copy and paste the link, anyone can join with probably one or maybe two exceptions that I could think of. I could only think of one actually at the moment that would suck out all the oxygen. So let's see. I want to give some shout outs to Patel Philippe. Where's Higgy and Perf? I addressed that earlier. I don't know where Higgy is. Has he been doing any live streaming? I don't know. Mike the Snake Explodes on AC3. Yes, I did catch a little bit of that. I'll probably watch more of it maybe tonight or in the morning. I always like to see what's going on AC3. Archie Luxury, the Pontiff, the OG. Without him, where would we be? Where would the Streamverse, where would the Archieverse, where would the community be? Would there be a community? I don't know. Because that is where it all began. And that is the fact, Jack. So I did see some of the explosion. And look, sometimes wake-up calls are good. And it made for creative content. And I think a lot of the OGs came out and supported Mike the Snake and what he was saying, I guess. And we'll see where that goes. But highly entertaining from what I understand. Be a poker, not a choker. Yeah, we're talking about risks. I agree with that. Poking is good. I'm not really into the choking. Not into the choking. The link is pinned. The pin is linked. And GMT is nowhere to be found on his own channel, man. He gave up the keys, and it is a Rogue One channel. So if anyone wants to, this is just laid back watch talk, or any talk really, but if anyone wants to hop on and talk about really anything, you are free to join the panel. I did have something I wanted to share because I think I titled this show browsing, watch browsing. Watch browsing with the cat. So I didn't want to just play a YouTube video because you guys might be bored. But it's the only thing that I have lined up is I didn't watch this yet. And I always like to watch the latest drops on Subdial. So this will just tell you all the channels. If you guys are seeing, oh, I haven't shared yet. Okay. You guys could see like my history is all watch bullshit content. Anyone want to talk about anything in the chat, please feel free. Spectre, welcome aboard. Please, I guess I say do not subscribe to the channel, but I guess the more viewers we have or subscribers, the better. We talked about favorite watch in the collection, but it would be tough, man. Other than the OG sub, I think I'd have to keep the AP. I really like that Royal Oak, and I like owning a Royal Oak. It represented a time in my life that I was really needed something to look, to kind of get me excited. And that was the Royal Oak, and it was pre-COVID. So pre-COVID. So I also like that. The fact that I was interested in watches before the mania began, before the spike, if you will, the crazy spike. Because at that time, even when I got my Hulk in 2018, that was still trading at 15 and the watch was 10. Of course, you guys all know where it went. It went like a rocket ship straight up to the moon. To the moon, Alice. Boom, bang, zoom to the moon. It went to 35 plus $1,000. And that's gray market. So they would literally pay, a punter like me over 30,000, if not 35,000 for that watch. And they would make their VIG. So that's where it went. And as they say, you take the elevator up. No, you take the stairs up and the elevator down. So I don't know. I think we may have taken the elevator up and down, but it has been slow and painful. Rough sledding. So anyhow, I was going to put on, because I haven't watched this yet, Watch Drop, one of my favorite channels, Subdial. And they did a drop, and I guess they have Justin Hast. It is, let's see, how many minutes does this go for? Goes for, it's 12 minutes. I think we have 12 minutes to kill. Hold on, we got Cameron H. Okay, I don't know who this is, which Cameron. What do you think about the Omega Swatch mission to moon phase? Omega Swatch mission to moon phase. I use it at work and at the gym. It's been great. I've loved Swatch since a kid. Well, I love Omega Swatches, man. I'm a big fan of you're talking about the Speedmaster mission to moon phase. So I have the Snoopy with the moon phase. I have the Jupiter. So the Moon Swatch mission to Jupiter. I have the mission to Mercury, and I have the Snoopy. So I don't know if that's called a mission, but that one has a moon phase. And I love all three of those watches. And I rotate them when I'm doing activities, like tennis or pickleball or at the gym. My gym watch is a titanium Casio G-Shock in titanium, which I was gifted by the great Ali Reza. So I use that one for kind of the gym and the water, and the moon swatches for most anything else. And yeah, I love Swatch. I've had Swatches for my whole life. I think they're great. And the more I look at that watch, I know it's plastic and I know it's overpriced. Mine were like $200 now. I think they're $300 in the Swatch store, and you can get them cheaper, I'm sure, on eBay or elsewhere. But I took like a closer look at them in hand and was just kind of feeling the heft of it. And I know it's quartz, but I think there's quality there. I don't know. I like them. Wear them all the time, so I think they're perfect for gym. I mean, you could wear them at work, but we tend to wear mechanical watches more than quartz watches, and typically at a higher price point. It's funny you're talking about moon swatches. I was watching Richard Profit and his show Rolex and Real Estate on YouTube, and he says that depending upon the age you are and I guess your status in life, he was talking about age appropriate watches. And he said that at his age, I guess he's 50 plus, he only wants to wear all gold Rolex. And he said, and I quote, unless you're 44 years old or older, you should wear steel Rolex. And then when you get to that around 44 years old, I think was what the age she was talking about. When you go above that, you should be wearing all gold. It's an interesting take. I mean, I hear what he's saying. in some respects. It's that you're kind of growing into the status of an all gold piece. And generally they are more expensive than the steel from Rolex if you look solely at retail. So, they're more expensive, and they kind of they mean more, I guess, if they're an all gold watch and you've accumulated some assets and some cash to make a purchase like that in the $30,000-$40,000 range. It's kind of more meaningful because you've worked hard, you've earned money, and now you're getting that gold piece, and it's kind of like signifies how your hard work and blood, sweat, and tears and success. And if you're just wearing it and you're 30 years old, it's maybe more of a flex piece, and I don't know, maybe you haven't earned it. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, because certainly there's internet billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg who've earned billions by the time they're in their 30s. So they certainly can get a gold watch, a platinum watch, a blinged out factory diamond set Rolex or Patek. So I don't know if that works in all cases, but I do hear what he's saying. And I kind of had the same thought when you see a lot of younger folks, getting the 40 millimeter gold day dates, and they're rocking those. And it's kind of like it used to be, you get a gold watch when you retired. You get a Rolex gold watch when you're at retirement, like 60, 65 years old. Now you're like 30 years old, 35 years old, and you're rocking the all gold Rolex, or Patek or Nautilus, Aquanaut, whatever, Vacheron, Cartier, all these gold pieces out there. And it seems like there is no age distinction, but I thought that was interesting what he was talking about, because I kind of had a similar thought when I see a lot of folks, rocking the all gold. But hey, whatever works. Maybe they're teaching us, because if they can rock an all gold, certainly, if you have worked longer and you have the means, you shouldn't be afraid to pull the trigger. And I'm thinking about moving up from a 36 day date gold to a 40. So there you go. But I also think that I don't really want to go all gold. That's why I have the Sea Dweller, because I kind of like going into the older stuff, the nostalgic stuff. So anyway, let me share this screen here, and let's play a little Justin the Haas and see the watch drop. Let's check out the watch drop. Now, I could lose viewers, and I thank you all, by the way, for tuning in, man. We got a decent number of people here on this channel. I wish someone would join the panel, but it does not look like that is happening. That is not meant to be, and I did not drop the link in any of the other chat groups. So let me link to share screen, and we'll do it. Okay, good. I'm just testing this out. So here he goes with Subdial. They're in the UK. I don't vouch for them, but I do think that they are absolutely legitimate from what I understand. Let's do it.
It's time for the watch drop. My name is not Tim Green. My name is Justin Hassan. I'm here stepping in for Tim this week. I'm delighted to be here because for weeks and weeks now, I've been on the other side of the camera. I am a huge watch lover and fan of the series Subdial I've been running, so I'm stepping in for Tim. Firstly, before we get to this incredible selection of new watches, we have to touch on the watch wall here that we've just had installed at the new Subdial clubhouse. It's absolutely bonkers. You can come in and you can ask one of the team to pull a watch from the wall and you can try it on and get hands on. It's incredible. The space, by the way, is also wonderful. It's a view I never thought I'd have because I'm always the one watching the.
So that's really cool. Just let me pause it here. So we have fair use. Fair use. I did not know that. So it looks like they have a physical location. I knew they had a physical location, but I didn't know you could just stop in. And it looks like now they have a wall where they put watches. And I think the way this works is people, I don't know if it's a consignment where people send their watches in and basically they're on consignment, and they take the watches in, check them out, and just put them up on their site for purchase, and maybe take a percentage of profits on a sale, or if they actually buy the watches from customers and then put them up for sale. So I'm not really sure how that works, but let's continue to roll this thing.
These from Tim. It's just a lovely selection of watches. My focus this week is going to be on wearability. As an owner of so many different watches over the years, it's the one thing that keeps you coming back to a watch. It's the thing that draws you to a watch, that is that unquantifiable element of just comfort, robustness, ease of use. And that's going to be the focus for our watch drop this week. My first pick is a Reverso. JLC this year at Watches and Wonders had a stonker of a year, and the Reverso, I think, is back hotter than ever. This may well be my favorite Reverso of all time, and when I saw the list of watches coming through, I was buzzing to get hands on with it. This is a 1931 tribute, and it is a grand version, chocolate dial, based on a 1930s reference that Heuer produced actually for an Argentinian retailer that had the same dial layout, but a black dial that then patinated over time to then turn this wonderful, dark, rich chocolate color. And as a result, Heuer produced this tribute edition. For me, if you're buying a Reverso, it has to be the tribute. It's just so thin and so elegant. It is a monoface. You can turn it over, and on the case back, you've got the space to do something intriguing, be it an engraving or an enameling or other. And because it's in gold, you can do that. On steel references, you can only engrave, which is slightly restrictive. So this in rose gold, the red gold is just stunning. And the combination of that chocolate dial and the red gold case is just gorgeous. As well as that, it's worth noting it's hand wound. Look how crispy. That is just so gorgeous. It's just absolutely a joy to wind. And when we say wearability, you know, it comes to life on the wrist. It really does. There's nothing quite like it, be it the shape, but also the combination on the dial and the case. And the cherry on the cake for me is the Casa Fagliano strap, because we have this history of the early reference that was an
Casa Fagliano strap. So let's pause this right here. I mean, this is a pretty incredible JLC Grand Reverso. It says 1931 tribute, so I don't know the year of this particular piece. It's certainly not 1931. It's the monoface in rose gold with the brown chocolatey dial. Oh, we just lost a bunch of viewers, man. I don't know what just happened, but that is not a good sign. Thank you, the viewers that have stayed with us. We appreciate that. Thank you for staying with us and supporting the Mr. GMT show, trying to keep this alive. We're barely afloat. We are not in any algorithms, but back to the watches. Oh, we're back to 13. That's nice. So hopefully there's some bots working here to stave off the embarrassment of the channel. I'm going to get back to Justin Haast doing an incredible job. But what do you guys think? Monoface versus duo face? My thoughts on a Reverso are, A, I should own one in my lifetime, and I never have. But I always go back and forth between owning a Reverso or owning a Cartier, some sort of a Cartier, maybe a Tank Americain, something large though. A Tank Louis wouldn't fit my wrist. Maybe a Cartier. I'm not really interested in the Tortue. There's a lot of other Cartiers. I'm just trying to think. Crash, no. You know, there's only a few Cartiers that could fit my wrist and look, I think, appropriate. Or a JLC, which totally would fit my wrist. Mono face versus duo face. I was thinking duo face because, I mean, if you want to be completely traditionalist, you get the mono face because that's what the Reverso was all about, right? Polo players, and to protect the, face of the watch, they would reverse it, play their polo match. I mean, who plays polo anyway? I've been to a polo match out in the Hamptons. Those are the only people that I know. I'm not in that world. I don't swim in that pool of polo players. I think it would be cool if you're, I guess, born into that, and you're a polo player that must mean your family or you are doing pretty well to afford to be, you know, riding around horses with a polo stick playing polo. But that's the traditional Reverso, right? Is the mono face. However, the duo face, I like the concept of a duo face because you have a dual time basically on your wrist, because you could set one of the faces to, let's say, your home time or local, and then the other face to your local time. So it's a travel time. If they all work that way, where you could set them, which I think you can, to two different times. And I also like the 12-hour format. So, with the GMT. So you're not in military time. You're not using GMT time. But on a quick flip, what time is it? 7 o'clock? What time is it in California? You flip it over, 4 o'clock. Very simple. I mean, you could do the math in your head anyway, but I think it's kind of cool to have that function. Or if you're across around the world in GMT, it's the GMT's time zone. Let's say Australia, you'd be screwed because, actually, no, you wouldn't, because GMT is in Darwin, Australia, which is not a 1 hour time zone. It's a half-hour difference. So you literally could set the watch to the exact time where you would be in GMT's time zone. And I think I want to say, what's GMT? I don't know. 6 hours ahead, maybe, something like that. I think he could correct me, but he's not here. So let's play a little bit more of this. We got a long way to go.
Argentinian retailer, it's only right that we have an Argentinian saddle maker in Casa Fagliano, who are the producers of this amazing strap. Again, I just love the stitching and the step detail that gives it a sportiness, actually, an elegance and a sportiness that is just unlike anything else. So for me, this tribute is something really special, and deep down, I'm hoping that no one else snags it, because it's something that I'm considering for next week. So let's see how we go. Absolute beauty. So guys, next up is one that I've actually got to get on the wrist because it's that good. It is a 50 fathoms from Blancpain, but made for Hodinkee. 250 were made in this limited edition. Hodinkee actually over the years have done two different variations of the 50 fathoms, slightly smaller one and a slightly larger one. This is the 40 millimeter one, which I personally prefer. But one of the real kickers here is the fact that there isn't a date, because all too often, and kudos to the Hodinkee team, because the one thing they did was say, guys, let's delete the date. And that is what they've done on this reference. It's got that famous bezel that is just slightly more recognizable than anything else from the likes of Rolex.
Okay, so here we have the Blancpain 50 Fathoms Hodinkee edition. So limited edition for Hodinkee, no date, 40 millimeters. That's insane, because that's a perfect size that everyone's clamoring for the 50 Fathoms. I know they were at 45 millimeters. I think they come down and made them in. They made a few in, I want to say 42 millimeter with the date at 430, I believe. And I think just most recently they came out with the ones in 38 millimeters. We covered the candy cane, and they came out with one in rose gold. They came out with one in candy cane pink. But to get a 40 millimeter, you have to get this Hodinkee limited edition. But this is killer. And hold on. Trap Vision, evening watch people, evening trap. Trap Vision 3D, thank you so much for your supporting this channel. Again, this is a rogue satellite channel of the Watch Hangout, authorized by JJ, where we can play unauthorized content under fair use. Fair use, it's all YouTube content, but you have to listen to me giving my 2 cents and commentary that you may find totally worthless or incorrect or whatever, but that's what I have to do, guys. But I am showing you, and we're going through this together because I have not watched this drop. This is drop number 231 from Subdial, one of my favorite indulgences on YouTube, my little watch indulgence channel. I thought it was a secret. I'm sharing it with everybody else, but these watches are pretty incredible. So let's continue with Justin Haast talking about the Blancpain. You are in the right place, my friend. Thank you for supporting the channel. You can subscribe or not. It doesn't matter. I like having this little corner of the world where it's if you know, you know, man. It's only us. Almost anyone could join the panel. Trap, you can join the panel if you want, but there is some people that just take all the oxygen out, and can't have them on the panel because then it wouldn't be a panel. It would be someone else's show. So we're about community, and everyone's thoughts are important. Let me continue with Justin and Subdial.
And it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing on the wrist. It's got this tropical rubber strap. I love the simplicity of the dial layout. I love the hands. The hands are absolutely flat to the dial. They're painted white, and the running seconds in the center is also painted white to sort of echo the perimeters of the different markers on the dial. And it's just seamless. This is dive watch heaven. It really, really is. You then got this very, very unusual indicator at 6 o'clock, which of course harks back to vintage references, which was a way for an owner, a diver, to tell whether water had actually made its way into the watch itself, which of course was never a good thing and is never a good thing. And I just love this. It just sits beautifully. It's not one of those dive watches that feels cumbersome on the wrist. It's not one you would wear necessarily with a jacket, but it does slide under a cuff. Either way. So this is peak summer for me, and at 40 millimeters it wears perfectly. While we touched on the winding of the Reverso before, we have to touch on the sound, because it's these types of things that make the difference when you own the watch. But listen to this as you rotate the bezel. Unidirectional, so only the one way, but just so satisfying. Of course, not a Bakelite bezel, but has that feel of the old Bakelite bezels. Really very, very beautiful. And this particular model, this particular reference, in such great condition. Beautiful, beautiful watch.
That is a crispy bezel action on that watch. So it's got that moisture indicator on there, as Justin explained. It also has, we talked about it, the 40, and it looks like it's on a tropical rubber strap. So that's going to be super comfortable, and it is ready for summer. Unfortunately, Blancpain doesn't do a 40 millimeter in their standard issue. So this is a special watch. I know they have the prices if you go onto their website. He's not saying them here. I don't think that's what they do. You basically have to go onto the website, because I would be interested in knowing how much this cost. I'm going to say, this is totally spitball, top of my head, and I did not look at the pricing at all. I'm going to say 20,000 plus, maybe 20 to 25,000 for this. It might be actually more because of the Hodinkee and how special this thing is at 40. But it'd be interesting to find out. I had a tropical rubber strap on an Oris Diver 65 that I had, which was a tremendous watch with the retro Arabic numerals. They were surrounded by, they were kind of in a square, and looked super cool. A lot of compliments on that watch. It was a blue dial, and just a great summer watch. I think it's a $1,500 watch. Maybe they're higher now, but I think that one was great. And it was on the tropical rubber. So let me go back to the video. Before I do that, Tiger Tail. Own that one as well, Cap. Yeah, wasn't that thing amazing? And now they came out with the anniversary one, which I think I want to add with the black dial. I think that one's great. I think that's a great watch, period. I don't care which one you get, any one of them. I think all of them are great. All right.
And for me, I would finally just touch on the fact that it's probably also a little bit unexpected. It's not the diver that you'd expect to see on the wrist, which I love. Next up is a bracelet. So we've had two straps. We've had a dress watch with a strap. We've had a dive watch with a rubber strap. And next up, we've got another 40mm option, but we've got it on a bracelet. This is the IWC Ingenieur. And it's a watch that I'm very close with because for many years I've worked with IWC. I've had the opportunity to interview Mrs. Genter, the late Gerald Genter's wife, who lives on in so many ways and takes his work to the world. And this is a watch that was produced originally, the Ingenieur, in the 50s, then re-looked at again by Genter in the 70s. And it was probably not his greatest work, it's fair to say. And IWC reference it as their greatest flop. You can kind of understand because it's got lots of charm, but in the hand, it's very clunky. The bracelet's very thick. The case is very thick. It's very 70s. Not in the 70s of the 3700-esque Nautilus, which was very fine and very thin. It was a bit clunky. And so IWC over the years in the 2000s looked at the Ingenieur again and tried to re-innovate on it, but it didn't quite hit the spot. For this version, which came out in a black dial, a white dial, and an aqua dial, which was a full reassessment of the Ingenieur, from the bracelet to the way the bracelet sits to the integration into the case itself, and to the dial, the markers, the hands, a full ground up restoration. And they've done a fantastic job. You know, it's just incredibly comfortable. And you know, this episode is all about wearability. So if you're going to have a bracelet watch, this really is one that you can hardly go wrong with. It's so easy to wear, so easy to use. It's a screw down crown as well. It's a butterfly clasp on the bracelet there, and closed case back as you would want from a watch of this kind. And the screw down is very, very simple, very satisfying. You've got this wonderful chessboard dial. I think black is probably the most wearable out of all of them. It's got that timeless quintessential aspect to it, and it just provides real depth to a dial and to a case, which is incredibly thin as well. You've got protective guards, crown guards, to ensure that there's no damage, that the crown isn't knocked off, which is in addition to this new version. And the bracelet is beautifully beveled on its edge. It really is a piece of art. So the Ingenieur from IWC, they've kept the original logo there at 6 o'clock, which I personally love, but look at that on the wrist there. Incredibly easy to wear. And again, probably, and you're starting to see a theme here with my personal collecting, probably not the obvious bracelet watch to go for, which I love. And then,
All right, let's break it there on the Ingenieur. Texture of that dial. So that Ingenieur is a great watch. I've tried all of those on at IWC. The price has come down. I think they came out maybe around 14,000. I think you could pick those up for around 10,000. I mean, as he said, screw down crown. I like the crown guards. It's a sports watch. Why not? You should have crown guards. I don't know the water resistance on it. I'm going to spitball and say it's 100 meters. It could be plus minus on that. I don't know. It's got the date, the checkerboard pattern. They came out with a few other versions, right? Just recently in the last month or so, I want to say. No, or was that Watches and Wonders? Marco picked one up. And if Marco picked one up, you know, it's gotta be good. I told him, hey, too many dress watches, Marco. You know, pick up some sports watch that's worthy of your status, you know, at Berdeen's, and you know, he's a well-dressed suit type of guy. And you know, he's built a really nice collection, and he picked up the Ingenieur for summer, and Justin likes it. I like it too. I don't see anything wrong with that watch. Absolute banger. You get the Genta history. I mean, that's more than like the Chopard Alpine Eagle is nice, but I'll take the Ingenieur over that. The new ones that came out with, I think one was in, what was it, rose gold, I think, with black. Let's see, the original was white, black, and a teal dial, which I didn't really love the teal. I think you might get tired of that, and it didn't go with everything. It was kind of greenish. And I think recently, right, the recent ones were, if anyone knows in the chat, but I thought they had a blue one, a rose gold and black, but that was at a much higher price point. And I thought they may have had a third, but I could fact check that. I could go to the IWC website later, but another great choice. So let's see. Let's go to the chat. Tiger Tail. Cap, looking at getting an Aqua Racer 300 GMT blue wave dial. So the Aqua Racer, that's Tag Heuer. Aqua Racer. I did look at those when I was at Tag. Blue wave dial put off by all the Tag internet haters. Well, so you're saying that the haters of Tag have put you off of getting the watch because you don't want to kind of take the heat. I kind of understand that, but that's more like letting the haters get the best of you, right? And I think you should buy what you love, because those Tag haters today could be Tag lovers tomorrow, and you're ahead of the trend. I am not, in terms of Tag, I don't know where the Aqua Racer fits for me, because Aqua Racer 300 GMT, there's a lot going on. So you kind of have, I think, a dive watch with the GMT function. It's got a lot of functionality to it. For me, obviously, Tag, I'm looking at the Monaco. My first choice is the chronograph, the box crystal. What's the name of that chrono that they have? The Carrera glass box. I would go with the Carrera glass box chrono from Tag. After that, I guess I would look at the Monaco. Then they have Formula Ones. Aqua Racer does not get a lot of love. That's for sure. They're not known for it. It doesn't have anything to do with racing, which is Tag Heuer. So for those reasons, I would not get it. And I don't love the aesthetic. It's, I think, got some sort of like octagon-like bezel to it. So just from a design perspective and aesthetically, it's not something that I'm drawn to. Doesn't speak to me. But if it speaks to you, who am I to judge? But I would not let the Tag internet haters get in your way, because I picked up the Tag, what is it? The CS3111, the Carrera, the Tag Heuer Carrera re-edition of the original Carrera in 36 millimeters, which is a chiclet on my wrist. And I think Tag's going to actually be doing very well with the Formula One. I think that's a perfect demographic for them. Like everybody else, I wish that the Solargraph were priced a little bit less, maybe $1,500, and I think they're already hitting that mark on the secondary. Sites like eBay. I don't know if any of those are on Chrono. I'm sure there are. I don't know if any of those watches are on. Where else would they drop? Joma Shop. Don't know. Wow, 26 viewers. It's got to be bots. Got to be some bots in there, man. We welcome bots, though. Bots are good. We welcome any subscribers. I don't care who they are. You don't have to subscribe. Again, no one is twisting your arm. We want to keep this, our corner of the universe, a little secret society, if you will. Anyway, that's my take on the Ox Racer. This goes back to Traps talking about the texture of the dial. So that's like that checkerboard pattern on the Ingenieur, the Ingi. I agree. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the aqua color of the original 3 that came out, but I mean, how can you argue with that history? To me, it's between that and getting a Laureato, and it's horses for courses. Either one, I think, is fine. But you do get Genta heritage with the Ingenieur, and I think IWC is doing well. I think Tag is doing well. In fact, I know someone who just got the Breitling Super Ocean, and everyone slags that watch off. So let's get Vimal up here because he is a loyal viewer and hopefully not a subscriber. Vimal, howdy Cap, howdy Vimal. Good to see you, man. You are active in all chats and all forums and keep the community going. Did you see Brad Pitt wore Patek to the red carpet of the new F1 that IWC is part of? I think, yeah, I don't know if you were the one that posted that. Which Patek did he wear? I didn't get a close look at it. But I think that's hilarious and ridiculous at the same time. He's out of touch because I heard that his IWC that he wore, which was, I guess it was an Ingenieur, he had his specially made for him. So he might actually have a one of one because he wanted the watch a certain way. He wanted it thinner, and there was one or two other things that I had heard he had requested, and they did it for him. So his is a one of one. And for him to wear a Patek, I'm curious what Patek he wore, but he's got the 222, and everyone goes nuts over that, even though that's at or below retail now. So the Brad Pitt premium did not do them any favors. Also, it's not like the John Mayer premium. Right? John Mayer puts on a watch, goes up 50%, if not 100%. Brad Pitt, not so much. I like Brad Pitt as an actor. Here's a movie from Brad Pitt you guys probably haven't seen, and you should. If you go on Netflix, it's called A River Runs Through It. A River Runs Through It, and it was about Brad Pitt in growing up in, I don't know what state it was, but they did fishing with his father and his brother. And Brad Pitt basically was he had a gambling addiction. And it's a really powerful movie. It was produced by Robert Redford. From who also, besides being in a lot of movies, was a famous actor back in the day, developed Sundance and the Sundance Film Festival. And he's out in Utah with Sundance Ranch, I guess, or Sundance. It's a ski resort, and I think it might be a ranch, but it's definitely a ski resort. Vimal answered my question. Full gold Calatrava. Well, I can't argue with that. I have a Calatrava, not in full gold, but I have a Calatrava. Make Calatravas great again. I think Calatrava is awesome. I think it's a great dress watch to have. So actually, I'm glad personally that he wore it, but I don't think it's appropriate that he wore it to the IWC F1 movie. But I think that movie is going to do very well. I think the buzz of F1 has just gone bonkers. I think it would be fun to go to an F1 event. I'd go to the Miami event or something in the States. I guess they have it in Las Vegas and Miami and, a bunch of other places. Okay, let's go to Trap. I don't see the problem with Tag. Sometimes I don't understand collectors. Yeah, I think that there's just, groupthink. I think sometimes you have to think on your own and go against the grain. And if, again, you guys don't remember this, I don't even remember this because I was not into watch collecting at this time back in the 90s. Um, I didn't get my first Rolex till 2000. And even then, I wasn't, really bonkers, all in on the hobby. I just wanted a nice watch that could wear anywhere and do anything with. But back in the 90s, Frank Mueller, the master of complications, Frank Mueller, was the current day Richard Mille. He was the Richard Mille of his time. The difference is Frank Mueller actually is a watchmaker. Frank Mueller was actually the master of complications. Richard Mille is not a watchmaker. Richard Mille is a marketing genius, and he just built a brand based on exclusivity. Yes, they have a impressive technology, but from folks that know a shit ton more than I do, who I've asked in the past, hey, what do you think a Richard Mille's worth? What would you pay for a Richard Mille? And these folks tell me, 50,000 for a watch that's going for 100 watches that are starting at 100 to 150,000. I know they're not. I like the look. I like the aesthetics of them, but that was the draw of Frank Mueller too. Frank Mueller had the crazy hours and the master banker. And the crazy hours was just, the hours were jumbled up and the complication wasn't that crazy. Wasn't that difficult to achieve. But, back then everyone talked about Frank Mueller, and now they are in the bargain bin. They are in the bargain basement of watches. 30 to 40% off or more. KDOL RG. KDOL RG. Not a bot. Cheers. That's good to know. Welcome aboard. Okay, Vimal. So we're good with the chat. We're caught up. Let's play some more Justin.
Finally, I've gone for a Breguet. The reference 7027 in white gold, 37 millimeters in case size. This is a reference that I've seen in the last few years go from strength to strength. I've spoken to so many friends who are collectors out there who've got in on this reference. 37 millimeters, when we talk about wearability, it's hard to argue with that. Even the most hardcore purist out there can't argue with that. It just wears like a dream. And I've got to say, this strap that the previous owner's gone for is not only supple and butter soft, but also quite punchy. I mean, look at that there. Now, that has a visual DNA like nothing else, and it could only be Breguet. Breguet has new leadership. It's got new energy. For many years, let's be completely honest, it has been in the doldrums. It's been nowhere, and it's such a shame because everybody who loves watches loves Breguet and wants to see Breguet do well. But some of the best buys in all of vintage watches have been Breguet over the last few years. Although that's starting to change. Prices are slowly starting to creep up, and these references are starting to come back into the catalogue that Breguet are selling in the primary market right now, which is going to only do one thing to these. It is incredible. This is a beautiful, beautiful watch. Here you can really see the structures. You can see the barrel there. You can see the escapements. You've got the power reserve there at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And let's give it a whine because, of course, again, it is a hand-wound caliber, which I love. But again, let's have a quick listen to the... Every morning, you don't have to wind it every morning, but can you imagine every morning getting up and the sense of winding that? So incredibly satisfying. When it comes to design, we've got these wonderful soldered lugs in traditional format, and traditionally something that Breguet has always done on this coin edge case, which again is not considerable, certainly enough to get under the cuff. On the dial.
All right, I'm pausing it here. Since I showed this little clip of Breguet, the viewership has dropped precipitously. I got to decline a call. There you go. Can't take that. Yeah, the viewership has dropped since Breguet has been on the screen. I don't know if that is a coincidence or if people just have no interest. But this is a cool watch. I think JJ had a similar watch, which he no longer owns. It's kind of an open work. There's the guilloche on that small dial that houses the hours. It's an interesting watch. I mean, I like Breguet. This would not be the one that I would get. And the click, I don't know. The manual wind is cool. But also it's a pain in the ass because you may wake up one morning and not wind your watch. And when you look at your watch, you are, 4 or 5 hours behind. So I don't know. Oh, we just jumped up from 8 to 16. So the viewership is going bonkers. The algorithm doesn't know what to do. People are confused. They're clicking on, they're clicking off. Just sit tight and enjoy the content. Sit tight and enjoy the content. All right. Let's continue with this. It's almost over. So stay on. Let me get to Trap. Appreciate Trap. Thanks for being active in the chat. I'd still sport a FM, Frank Mueller. The designs are fun and goes with a lot of my sneakers. That's interesting. Yeah, I actually had a colleague at work, a senior guy, actually, one of the big kahunas, asked my opinion on a Frank Mueller, but he was going to get it at a high-end department store. And I saved him $8,000 because in speaking with folks that I know, like Marco and Nate Dogg, they said you can get the same watch for, I don't know, 40 cents on the dollar. So that's 60% less. And I think they were going to give him like 10 or 15% off plus a credit, like $1,000 store credit, which would only give him, let's say, 20% off. So, I mean, there's a big difference between 20% off and 60% off. So if you're going to get one, you could shop around and, be choosy and go to a place that's been sitting on their Frank Mueller for a long time. I would not get one new. It was a Vanguard. He was going to get one of the new Vanguards. I think they're at 18,000. I mean, Frank Mueller charges a lot of money for their new watches. This is not a easy buy. This is not a $1,000 or even a $5,000 watch, but I think you can get them for 5,000 or so, 5 to 10. If you shop around, save yourself a lot of money. But of course, yeah, they're the inspiration to Richard Mille. So obviously Richard Mille, good artist borrow, great artist steal. Well, I guess Richard Mille is a great artist because he borrowed and stole, if you will. So we'll see if Richard Mille stands the test of time. I think they're 25 years in, but Frank Mueller, again, was a independent watchmaker that hadn't been around that long in the 90s. And now he's I guess having fun in Geneva and or Thailand, wherever he is, parts unknown, and still selling watches. So his atelier is doing well. His brand is surviving. He's probably still making money, and the resale is toxic. Absolutely toxic. Great piece to look at. Yeah, it is interesting, right? Where you see the movement, you see the guilloche, you get to see everything about it, and it's obviously manual wind, so there's going to be no rotor, but still very cool, and it is a cool looking watch though. I like open worked. If this is considered open worked, open working. In a sense, but yeah, actually the whole movement is exposed for the most part, Beautiful watch to look at, and you know, you have the hand finishing. Breguet is in fact undergoing a management transition. So I think, I don't know what they're going to do, but they have the Type 20 and Type 21. It's kind of their sporty watches, the chronographs, the flyback chronos. I like those. I like those. They got a lot of shit for those too with the 430 date. I mean, why, I don't know, because I think I think it's a really nice watch. Again, if you buy it not at retail. So I think that's the answer with Breguet. And if their prices are firming, as Justin says, and maybe creeping up, might not be a bad time if you want a dress piece. Cannot go wrong with Breguet. Cannot go wrong with Breguet.
Dial itself, we have this beautiful guilloche miniaturized dial at 12 o'clock, which echoes pocket watches of the past from Breguet. Traditionally produced using a lathe, so done by hand, not a stamped guilloche dial. Roman numerals in the outer track, blued hands, thermally blued hands, which then match these thermally blued screws all over the architecture of the dial itself, and then a frosted base plate, and different components are frosted as well. So you have this wonderful combination of different factors going on, almost a monotone look aesthetically, but honestly, if there was a Breguet I were to get into, it would be this. It really has everything that you would want. And as well as that, a tremendous value proposition. So this might be the very last time that we see a great value Breguet popping up on this particular table. So there we go. Well, guys, there you have it. That is this week's drop. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm humbled to be here. Thank you very, very much. And it is a cracking drop, as always. We've got sports Rolexes, we've got Vacherons, modern Vacherons, we've got vintage Jagers, and we've even got some Cartier mixed in there. It is a full bag that ticks every box you could ever want. So until next time, thank you very much. Do head over to the website and check them out. But until then, go well.
So that was it. And there you have it. We have 30 viewers, man. Viewership is exploding on this channel. I don't know how. Bots are going bananas right now. Oh, we're down to 19. Not good. Not good. Oh, and we have our favorite, the host. Where did he go? Where did the channel owner go, man? I snuck in and stole his channel. I hope he's going to join us. We shall see. We may have a very, I don't know if I should call him a guest or not. Let's see if he comes up. Back up to 30. Woof. Yeah. Woof. Oh, wait. Let me introduce to you a man who needs no introduction. The owner of the channel, Mr. GMT. Mr. GMT, welcome.
What's going on, brother? What's happening? What about Mr. Adam?
You tell me, boss.
I'm not the boss. You're the boss. You're running the ship. You're the captain, remember?
Yeah, but I'm the captain, but you're the admiral. you're the owner of this ship, man. This is the Titanic. You're the owner, and
look,
you chose me to steer it, and you're the owner, man. Let's get.
Yeah, but you know, we never know. We might hit an iceberg, and the ship might go down.
I'm sure we will, and that's the goal. So I don't know. It's interesting, GMT. You know, when you don't care about subscribers, it's fun. You know,
yeah.
I like these channels, and I always joke that, you know, we don't want people to subscribe. Of course, why not? You know, the more the merrier. But it's kind of I like having this little niche of a channel where we can just riff on anything, whether it be watches or whether it be, I don't know, what's going on in your life, in your day, whatever it may be.
Just random shit, right?
Random shit, you know, like whatever people want to talk about. So the owner of the channel is here.
I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm here.
How are you doing?
I got no idea what I'm doing here.
What time
It's
is it?
almost coming on to lunch for me, so I've only got a few minutes, but I thought I'd jump on and just see what you're doing, Cap.
Doing a
See what's
drive-by?
happening.
I was
Yeah,
showing,
drive by.
yeah, I did this. So I was basically going through this watch drop, which I like watching, a Subdial. So they're a UK channel or UK company, I guess. And I think they get watches, I want to say on consignment from people, because I don't know if they buy the watches and then put them up for resale or if they consign them and on other people's behalf. But they get some really cool watches. You know this guy, Justin Haast?
No, I don't. No.
Justin? Well, anyway, he's a big watch guy, and he did the drop this week.
What was he talking about?
They pick random watches that they get sent in. So they talked about the Ingenieur,
Yep.
the IWC. They had a Breguet, the one that JJ had.
Yeah. Another one.
Yeah, you know, that open work type of thing.
Yeah.
They had a
Archie's
JJ.
got one too. But he's a different color.
Yeah, what he was saying was that Breguet is actually stabilizing and the prices might even be creeping up. I don't know.
No way.
I don't know
No
about that.
way.
Well, he said they're a value play, right? So,
time will tell. You never know with these things, right?
I hear you. Yeah. Because I was talking to someone else. Trap Vision asked about Richard Mille, I think. Or we were talking about Richard Mille because we were talking about we were talking about Frank Mueller.
Is he still alive?
We don't know, right? He's dead or alive.
Cap, I've got to go. I got people running in like this.
All right, yeah, no problem.
I'll if you want, I can stay in the background, or if you want me to, I can just jump off and just do what you do.
Up to you. Whatever you want to do. If you want to go mic off, and you could just stay here on screen, it might look better to have two panelists.
All right, yeah, we'll do that. I'll just stay on the screen. How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
Hey,
viewership, you helped the viewership, man. We're up to 30 now.
Get fucked. I'm not that fucking famous. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know if they're bots, but they're here, so we don't care.
Look, if I can come back, I'll come back. All right.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Put yourself on mute. Thanks for showing up, boss man.
No worries, brother.
All right. Well, that's the boss, man. We owe GMT all the credit in the world for this channel because he's kept this channel going for 3, maybe even 4 or 5 years. That he kept it afloat. He was paying for the monthly or yearly fee on this thing, so we have it. It's our little secret. It's the only channel that I've ever had keys to, that I've ever wanted keys to, and GMT is a good friend of mine and just a top-notch bloke in general. One of the nicest guys in the broader community, without a doubt, as genuine as they come. And makes a great souvlaki and cuts a great promo. So yeah, Trap knows. Welcome GMT. And GMT, by the way, he's a real collector, man. This guy has been collecting for I think most of his adult life, putting aside his Superman cave, the man cave. We call it the Fortress of Solitude. The Fortress of Solitude. I mean, that's a serious collector. You see someone who's collecting Superman, figurines, and Superman, Superwoman, Super Dog. I mean, he's got it all. That's a tremendous collection. So, I mean, that's a collector through and through. So he's been into tag before there was tag. The Monaco. He's got the James Bond Quantum of Solace pieces. Yeah, his collection is very interesting and shows his personality and the way he collects. Very well thought out. Like every piece he gets has a reason, a purpose, and is special. So if he moves on, he doesn't do it lightly. And that's what it should be. To me, that's real collecting. Micah Taylor, Captain, Conquering the Hill. I don't know what hill we're talking about. Jonah Hill. What hill? Mike again. Breguet is the next Frank Mueller. No, man, I don't think so. I don't know, because Breguet doesn't have a name. Frank Mueller is a person next to the name, right? That's like FP Journe. You know, Breguet was Abraham Louis Breguet, but he's been long gone, right? So the brand is around. The brand is a storied, historical.
I can't believe that it's still alive.
Which brand? Frank Mueller or Breguet?
Yeah, Frank Mueller.
Well, we don't really know, but I did see him at a dinner, by the way. So he is alive. He was having dinner.
You personally saw him at a dinner? You were at a dinner when he was at a dinner?
No, it was in Geneva, and it was what's his name, with Wei Ko. And it was a couple of months
All right.
It was a few months ago, and I think Roman visited Frank Mueller's his atelier. Basically,
Oh shit, Cap's frozen.
oh, I'm good. I just hit the mic, the pause button. Yeah, Breguet seems to be coming back around. Look, they have new management, and I don't know what's public or not about that stuff. So I'll wait until that comes out. But Breguet, you know, let's see what they do. Maybe they could dig into the archives. But their problem is the same problem a lot of brands have. If you don't have that sports piece, because people have morphed over from pure dress watches to basically, word casual. So everyone's wearing business casual, if not even more casual. But business casual means there's more sports watches being worn, and they don't have. Well, they don't have an integrated bracelet watch, but they don't have really. I'm trying to think if they have I don't think they do. In fact, they don't have a like a steel sports watch. Even Lange came out with the Odysseus. So maybe that's what they need to bring people in the door, and then they can explore the world of Breguet. All right. Walter Folks. Walter Folks, just joining for the first time. This looks like a cool place. Well, that's the goal. We'd like it to be a very chill, cool place where people can just unwind and enjoy some watch content. What was that, GMT? All right, GMT's on mute. Welcome aboard, Walter. Subscribe to the channel. I mean, we just do these things randomly. There's no set schedule. It's really when I feel like doing a stream and sharing some things that I watch and some content and commenting on it. Trap. Okay, an AD sells Frank Mueller in Indiana. Yeah. There's still a network out there. It's department stores. In this case, it was Neiman Marcus that was selling them, and an authorized dealer. So he definitely has a network, man. He's definitely selling. I don't know who's buying at retail, but he's still around. They're selling watches. And actually, there was a Roman Scharf video, which was really cool, visiting Frank Mueller's, like I said, the atelier in Geneva. I think he's in Geneva. Big Mac Attack. I really want to get a Seamaster, like the Golden Eye watch. Is there any good homage brands?
Well, funny enough, that's what I'm wearing at the moment, Cap.
What are you wearing? Golden Eye?
Yeah, the Golden Eye quartz. Seamaster.
Okay, well, good. So you can answer Big Mac Attack's question. I think. Is there any good
one second. Let me.
Oh, so he's looking for an homage. An homage
to the. I don't think there is.
That do it justice. So is he talking about an homage to GoldenEye, an homage to the Seamaster?
Yeah. The Seamaster, I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, any help would be awesome. Oh no, we have Marcelo in the back room. Marcelo's on the streets of Japan. GMT?
What's that? Sorry, I missed that. I'm driving.
We have Marcelo's in the backstage.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'll put him on. Fuck it. Put him
No,
on.
no, I'm gonna put him on. He's walking in the streets of Japan. But
so he's doing some Gonzo streaming.
I don't know what he's gonna do, but he's gotta like.
Well, it's good.
He's gotta
Well,
calm
that'll
down.
be good because then he's got to calm down.
Well, yeah, he's gotta take it easy because this is a very laid back show.
Yeah, he will. If he gets too excited, we'll have to cut him off.
Marcelo?
What the fuck is wrong with you? You can hear me?
Now you weren't on the stage yet.
Yeah, but what the fuck is wrong with you? Why take you like 7 hours to put me in? Marcelo is in the back room. What should I do? Should I basically bring him on?
I had to prepare. I had to prepare the audience. Listen, this show is supposed to be a solo show. Solo.
Okay.
Solo. Meaning, because you have a lot of background noise. I'm hearing the skateboard. I'm hearing the motor going on.
Electric bicycle. I just came from the tennis. I was playing with 3 girls that they don't play that well.
That's
but
okay.
I did.
Still 3 girls.
Yeah, I like to show up. It was wonderful.
Marcelo, I'm getting burps from you though.
Of course you do, because I'm outside.
Is that why it's burping?
I guess. I mean, it's everything to do with internet and bullshit and wind. And, that's why I guess in the future I might change the equipment, better AirPods, better phone, But you know what? Sometimes when you put somebody like me that you cannot hear perfect, that is burping, that's showing a little bit on the stream, and it does disturb the audience, people love it, because it creates some distortion, People like the distortion, Don't you think?
I'm trying to listen.
He's trying to say distraction. That's what he's trying to say.
I don't know, man. That burp is driving me fucking crazy. So I don't know. I don't know about the audience. I like the sound of your bike. The scooter sounds good. If I could just hear the scooter and not the burping.
It's a big bicycle.
But that's an electric bicycle, you said, right?
Yeah. It's a bicycle that I sold last week.
It's motorized.
Yes.
Are you pedaling? Let's see you pedal. Let's see how you're pedaling.
No, I'm pedaling a little bit, not all the time.
How fast can it go?
Hard to say. Maybe because you need to paddling all the time. So I guess I might do 20 kilometers an hour, maybe a little bit fast. I don't know.
All right, hold on, Marcelo. So I don't hear the burps. I'm just gonna mute you for a second. I gotta get through some of these chats, and I'll put you back. All right, hold on. I don't know if I can do it right. What happened? Hold on. I just wanted to mute you, not put you backstage.
I can mute myself if you want.
No, I'll do it. Okay, so we have Marcelo. There he is. He's biking in the streets of Japan. It's actually pretty cool content. Let me put him. Let's see if I could put him full screen. How do we do this? There he is. So now he's happy. Look. So we're gonna watch Marcelo biking around. There he is. He's having fun. Look at that. He's got a bus. This is cool. I gotta be honest. Like, you don't get this content, man. He's streaming from Japan. GMT, are you still on?
Yeah, bro. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So basically, this chat guy wants to know, any help would be awesome. He's got a real moon watch, but he always wanted a diver. So get the Blancpain.
Yeah.
Get the Blancpain 50 fathoms. Get the.
No, but what sort of question is he asking?
I have no idea.
What sort of question is he asking?
He's got a moonwatch, so he wants a diver that's an homage. Is there any good homage brands that do it justice? An homage, I guess, of the Seamaster? or the golden eye. I don't know. You got to be clear.
Well, if you're saying the golden eye, it's trying to say there's the golden eye is cheap enough to buy without having to get an homage. Because the homage is, they're not cheap. They're not as cheap as people think they are.
Walter Folks, he just subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. You got the last name right. That's good. Bob, if people don't know you're on, how the hell can they watch? They can't. That's the whole point, Bob. We don't want people. No, we want people to watch.
We want people that know, that are in the know to watch. Right?
We don't want it to get too big. It'll lose the charm of the show. We just want to watch Marcelo biking. There he is.
Biking.
There he is. Shout out to
Marcelo. And answering the questions of the viewers, whatever they want to talk about.
If you go to Japan, Marcelo will give you a bike tour. How about that?
And then take you to his restaurant.
Octopus watches and watch dives for that 007. So this is Trap says the best homage is octopus and watch dives for that 007. So he wants an homage to that 007.
Can you bring something like that? Can you bring something like that up so we can show the viewer?
Octopus watches, the real Omegas are upwards of 2,800, but I found a 2583.80 for 1,500 or so.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad at all. So I would go with that. Let me put Marcelo back. Hold on.
You know what you should do? Let's do this for the viewers, right? Why don't we bring that watch up so we can see it? And
I don't think they want to see it, man. I want to see. I think we have to move on to something, some other topic, because I don't want to spend too much time on an octopus. There you go.
Their headphone pissed me off. They don't work now. Let me see if I can fix it.
Yeah, but you're not burping.
Yeah, but there is no headphones. The headphones are
good. The headphones were giving him grief.
Oh, you sounds good. I'm not hearing burps.
Hey, Cab, you're sounding like an elitist, so you don't want to bring up watches for people.
Hey, man.
Yeah. By the way, I'm wearing the Lamont today.
Oh, Jesus.
With a bicycle as always.
Fantastic. You're riding with a Lamont. This guy's a legend. You don't give a fuck about anything.
Hey, listen, GMT, this guy didn't super chat, so I don't have to pull up anything, man. I don't work for free. Well, I do, but I'm going to work for free.
We are working for free, both of us.
We are. Marcelo, what's that background noise? What is that? Or is that?
I think it was a truck. There is a truck, you see?
Fuck, man, you got to mute that. How do you, would your headphones stop that?
It would.
It would, yeah.
Anyway, let me. I don't know how long you guys still going to stream.
It's hit or miss, man. We'll see.
Okay, so let me jump off. I'm going to go home maybe in an hour. If you guys still on, I'm going to jump on.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, hey GMT, good to see you streaming, brother. Also, you listen. Start training because I'm going to kick your ass probably next year in New York.
Let's go, baby.
Start training. I'm going to embarrass you. You're going to be an embarrassment.
You're playing pickleball or tennis, man? I'll take you out. I'll kick your ass. I'll kick your ass in pickle, man. All right. Marcelo, always a pleasure.
All right.
Thanks for joining, man. You are a loyal viewer, panelist. That I can tell you. I appreciate that.
See you guys soon.
I appreciate that. I didn't mean to backstage you either. It was just fixing things. All right, there he is, the one and only Marcelo. Okay, well, now that I can hear. All right, well, Big Mac Attack. Let's see, Octopus. I guess I could look at it, but let me get to Walter Fuchs. Walter Folks. That's kind of like Folks, the author of the my AP. What did he? Nicholas Fuchs. No, he spells it differently. Royal Oak versus Nautilus. Hot take, but I'm not a fan of the Royal Oak. Not that I can afford either, but love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Royal Oak. I own a Royal Oak. So of course I buy the watches that I love. And I have the 15300 black dial, 2012, last year of that reference. And in-house movement, it was the first year that the Royal Oak had an AP in-house movement. Not the first year, the first model reference was the 15300. So I like that. Great watch, 39 millimeters, automatic. What is it? I think it's the movement is reference. I want to say 3310 or 3325, something like that. Hacks, my 39 mil hacks, and it has a quick set date. So it does everything, man. And I like the fact it says automatic on the bottom. So there's some good symmetry and balance, and it's a great watch. Look, you got to like the style and aesthetic of the Royal Oak. It's that industrial kind of case of the, see, whereas the Nautilus, Gerald Genta designed the Nautilus on the porthole, a ship porthole. The Royal Oak was designed based upon the diving helmet. So that's kind of explains the difference between the octagon and then that kind of porthole shape of the Nautilus. Both very nice. I like the Nautilus too. I'm not one of those who, dislikes the Nautilus shape and just likes the Royal Oak. I actually like both. I like the Royal Oak better. To me, it's just the angular, I think, makes it kind of appeal to have a little bit more masculinity to it. I think that's the word I was looking for. So it's not as refined, if you will. It's also the first, and that's obviously from the quartz crisis in 72 or before 72, when Genta designed that watch, designed the jumbo, and because at the time, what was it, 39 millimeters was considered jumbo, even though it's the ultra thin. So mine is not the jumbo. It's not part of that jumbo line. It's not the 15202 and its predecessors. But I don't mind that because it's still thin enough for me. So it's not ultra thin, but it's still thin enough to be double duty, dress piece, sporty piece. And of course you have that that beautiful bracelet with the hand finishing, and really sparkles. So in that respect, it's a little bit louder because of that bracelet. Like, it draws a little more attention, and I think it's a bolder watch, whereas the Nautilus is kind of a refined watch with the kind of the bracelet that's I think it's primarily brushed and polished center links. Can't go wrong either way. I'll take the Royal Oak, even though Nautilus goes for more. Generally speaking, Nautilus is more expensive, but you cannot go wrong with either one. Dauphize, Lucky or Travis Scott? I don't know Lucky at all, and I barely know Travis Scott. But I like some Travis Scott. I like the Travis Scott AP. I think that looks amazing. The ceramic, kind of brown ceramic. I wish they did a ceramic bracelet with that watch, especially for the price. But I think the Travis Scott AP is awesome. I don't know Lucky at all, and I barely know what the one or two most popular songs of Travis Scott that I've heard. So that's my take on that. Caleb, you're doing an absolutely incredible job, and I just want you to know that it doesn't go unnoticed. The effort, dedication, and passion you're putting into what you're doing is truly inspiring. I I don't know. That sounds that sounds like a troll comment. I don't know. I don't know who Caleb is. But I appreciate it either way. I don't know about inspiring. I'm doing this for fun, and we'll see how long it lasts. Walter Folks, beautiful breakdown. Thank you for the response. You're welcome, Walter. If you had any follow-up questions, put them in the chat. So listen, so far we had two guests. We had GMT and we've had Marcel. Well, GMT is the owner of the channel. So this is his channel. And I just work here. I am his voice, his loyal supporter. We had Marcelo, did a little drive-by from the streets of Japan. Oh, here's another one. Is gambling long time profitable? Absolutely, yes. Gambling is profitable. Absolutely. You could write off your losses and I don't know, I guess you're supposed to report your gains. But if you know what you're doing, yes, gambling is profitable. If not, you could go broke very quick. I hope that answers your question. Famal, Kat, what brand are you most excited about? Excited. I'm not sure if I'm excited about any brand, to be honest. That's a really tough question. Excited about. I mean, I like I think some of the independent brands would excite me. Urwerk would be one that comes to mind. I mean, Rolex is tough to get excited. Plus, we just had Watches and Wonders, so you're gonna have to wait a year before anything new comes out from them, and then you're not going to get the splash of a land dweller every year. Tag Heuer is doing some cool things. I'm looking forward to seeing what Breguet does going forward. Let's go down the list. FB Journe, not really. AP. I want to see what Iliad Esta has in store for us going forward. I think they're already moving towards women. I think it's obvious. They have Hailey Bieber as one of their ambassadors or spokespersons. Justin's wearing a frosted mini wheat, frosted mini yoke. So they're going to make a push for women, and I think it's a smart play. They have the code if they can drop the price point. It's kind of a thicker watch, but it's better than it was. I just like their mark. I know people go give them a lot of shit for their marketing. But I think they're marketing to kind of a young crowd. I guess you risk alienating some of the older crowd, but look, I've always liked the Royal Oak Offshore. They've dropped like a stone. I think there's some value there. And I think that, folks have shifted to a little bit smaller watches, but that trend can reverse. So if you buy an offshore at the very low price in the aftermarket and hold it for like 3 to 5 years, you might do okay. Hopefully you won't lose too much money. And you'll enjoy the watch. And they make some really amazing pieces. They may, who knows? They may go back into the archives and bring back another collection and add to what they have. I mean, concept is just a different level. So it's really not part of their core. So you have the code, the Royal Oak, and the Royal Oak Offshore. They cut out the Millenary. They cut out the Edward Piguet. They cut out Jules Audemars. They've really slashed and burned down to the core because they probably weren't selling those other watches. And maybe they were taking a loss on them. Who knows? But if you really go back and see some of their like perpetual calendars, they have like a square one that looked like a tank. I guess it was a rectangular shape. I think it was Edward Breguet. Beautiful dress watch, man. They could add something like that. Just go with a classic and come out with a line of watches that's super elegant. So now people can wear an elegant Audemars Piguet dress piece, and then they can pair it with, you know, a code, which is kind of that in between casual, sporty dress. Kind of can do it all. Same with the oak. I think the code is a little thick, to be honest. And you know, they went with using the octagon in the mid case. And I mean, if that doesn't beat you over the head that it's a royal oak or related to the royal oak, you know, I don't know what does. And I still don't know if that's a good move. That was a good move or not. Because it just showed to me that just how deeply ingrained the royal oak is in their culture, and they couldn't get away from it at the last minute. You know, they had to integrate that in the case, just to remind people, hey, you're kind of buying a royal oak. You know, look, the royal oak is we got the octagon in the mid case. Try to convince people to buy it, but that's really not deviating to you. Kind of, it's a half homage to your own watch. Anyway, I'm not a designer, but look, I think if I had a crack at that land dweller like everybody else, I think with like 2 tweaks, I mean, that thing could be a complete banger. Complete banger. All right, let's get the rest of this chat here. And I'll ask the chat, what brands are they excited about? You know, looking forward 1 to 3 years over the next, let's say, 3 years. You know, what brand are they excited about?
You know, everyone's going to say Rolex, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, how can you get excited about Rolex? You know,
yeah,
you know
that's
what I
true.
mean?
They do increment upgrades. They don't do massive upgrades. The only thing that I take that back. Sorry, this year they did the land dweller. That was a one-off. They don't normally do shit like that.
I was gonna say, like, they did the land dweller, so I think Rolex, you're good for like 5 years, right? It's just gonna be minor iterations of the land dweller, and you know, maybe
Little
they come out
increments,
with
increment upgrades. You know.
yes. Yeah. Oh, in terms of getting a new watch, no, I have no plans to get a new watch from Mal, but you know, I'm always poking around. So
I've got a
never
new
know.
watch, but I haven't got it here with me to unbox it or anything like that. So
Oh yeah, we're gonna hopefully do that unboxing.
if we get a chance, we'll do it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to tell you, watch the viewership just completely dropped off the cliff.
Well, that's what we want, isn't it? Oh, it's great. Only 5 people. Yeah, that's perfect. Just the way we like it.
Kind of, but I liked when we had 30.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't like the content you're talking about, Cap. What is it? You're fucking boring them to death. What the fuck?
I don't know. Well, I was playing video before. It was good, and then Marcelo came on.
And then tank the whole thing.
I don't know. I'm not saying that either way, but
Is that what you're saying? You
numbers don't lie. But I like to play like other content and comment on it, because who wants to hear me spitballing?
But that's true too.
Bob, what happened to the overseas? It seems to have tanked in resale. I mean, I don't know. I think they just made too many of them, I guess, and people ran out of money. Everyone who wanted one bought it. And then I think a lot of people realized it's too big for their wrist. You know, not everybody has wrists like us, Bob. So I think they got it and they were like, you know, this is really nice, but it's too freaking big. And maybe they sold it.
That's what she said.
Yeah. And plus you have every year they got to sell another 10, 20,000 of these things. So look, the blue is still a boutique watch. And I heard it's, you know, still at least difficult to get at the boutique. So I expect that to turn around. And also I think that Vacheron was heavily tied to the Asian market, and the Asian economy has been tanking. It's been in free fall. So I don't think a lot of Asians particularly the Chinese, are not spending money, and therefore the whole brand, like Vacheron's, suffering. That's what I think. And Vacheron's also part of Richemont, so they're not getting any support there, and they don't market well. Their marketing is non-existent. So that's my take on it. I still think it's one of the best value plays in the entire space. McLovin, what's up, Cap? What's up, McLovin? Good to see you, man. Hope you are doing well. Hopefully you have the Safe Queens all stored away and socked away. And make Chapek great again. Hopefully Chapek is doing well and people are buying the new model lines. I don't know what they came out with recently, but I'm sure they came out with variations of the Antarctique, right? The Antarctique, and then they had, what's the other one that Chapek has? What is it? The Presage? I'm going to make this up. Is it the Presage de something? I don't know. I don't remember. Walter Folks, thoughts on the Parmigiani Fleurier Tanda? Big fan. I like it. I'm not a huge fan of that, the bezel on that, the coin edge. I guess it's not coin edge, but the bezel looks like kind of a coin. That's my only knock on that watch. Everything else, I've had it on wrist ergonomically. It's phenomenal. Bracelet is great. It's one of the most comfortable watches, sports watches in the space for that integrated sports. Dial has beautiful guilloche on it. I like the salmon. They have it in salmon. They have it in blue. I've seen the salmon. I also saw a special New York edition that was created by a group that went to Parmigiani Fleurier, their headquarters in Switzerland. I guess Fleurier, right? In Switzerland. That thing is really nice too. It's a special colorway. I think it's like a burgundy. I would buy one, but again, the only thing is I don't love the bezel on that. It just something about it. I could pull it up, but I'm not going to. Great watch though. 49,150 second gen overseas is a great deal. Yeah, second gen overseas is a great deal. But I would still buy, I think the third gen overseas is a great deal, and I like the look of that better. So I would stick with that. Land Dweller 56K on Moda. Yeah. Did it get that high? I know it was in the 40s with like an hour left. So it looks like there was some snipers. There was a lot of last minute bidding on that. They were all waiting to see where it was going to go, and I guess they had a little bit of a bidding war. So let's see. That's retail was 14. Holy moly! And I think that was not a 36, was it? I think that was had to be one of their 40 mils. That price is too high for a 36. That is a hefty premium. What are we talking about here? 4x? Yeah, I'll take a Land Dweller at retail. Where are the people who said it was an ugly watch? They should have gotten. Why are they doing the Explorer Arabics? I don't like the honeycomb dial. I don't like the name Land Dweller. What else did I hear about that watch? I don't like the chapter ring. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, I would take out the chapter ring. I agree with that. It didn't need it. I would also, I know Rolex would never do this, but I would take the Cyclops off that, maybe to distinguish it a little bit. I'm going to go full screen on myself. I'll tell you why. There you go. No Cyclops, boys. You see that? Clean. That's what a Rolex looks like if you burn the Cyclops off. I'll give you a better look at it. As the traders said in Enron, the Enron traders said during the California wildfires, Burn, baby, burn. You can burn the Cyclops right off. And here you go. Look at that thing. It's the 19th at almost 11 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, 10:58. It's pretty close. Look at this. I think everybody should get one of these immediately. Don't spend more than 10 grand. Box papers. Okay, here we go. That's an insane price, though. Liking FP Journe. They don't have a boutique in Canada. Well, I guess you're shit out of luck, Vimal. You are shit out of luck. I know someone in Canada who got a few Journes, though. So, in Vancouver. So he definitely got it from a Journe dealer in Canada. And it was at retail. Oh, here you go. Store in Vancouver. Yep, that's right. I know someone who got pieces. VC overseas is too big. Right. Secondary is cheaper. Right. I know. You're right on both. I would say get the black dial if you want a one and done. Or the blue. The blue can be a one and done too. But if you like black dial watches, that's even cheaper. Authorized. No, it's authorized from all. It is authorized because I know someone who was a Journe customer. He got the platinum chronometer of Ren. I think he was on the list for the Havana dial FP Journe as well, another Sovren. I had his platinum dial on a wrist. Beautiful watch. Beautiful watch. It was monochrome. It was just a white dial or whitish, maybe like opaline. Still impressive, though. Exclusive in-house boutiques. Well, I don't know. Maybe then that Vancouver one is gone. After sales support now. Well, that's not good. I guess my friend won't be getting any more Journes. Scroll Grail Z. Find some deals. Yeah, I know a lot of people who go on Grail Z, man. It's just tons of watches. We can do that some other time because I'm almost running up on 2 hours, which is probably like an hour and a half more than I planned. But we'll do that next time. Grail Z. I like that idea. Or, you know what I wanted to check out? There was John P. set up a company called Chrono Swaps. I don't know anything about it. Palladio, right? Don't list. I'm almost caught up. Oh, now we have Chrono Swaps. I think that's what it's called. Let's see if I have anything else. I want to check out my. There we go. I'm going to see if there's any other content that might be worth taking a look at, as long as it's not too long, because I know the chat's fickle and they do not have a lot of time. Oh, the SD4K. We don't want to talk about that. I have a good outro song, though. I'm trying to see if there's any good content that we can watch. There was one. Bark and Jack come out with anything good? Porsche 911. What the hell? Why no one buys the code? Watches with Abdullah. I don't know if we want to see him. Peter Piccolino. Theo and Harris. All right, I'm running out of ideas. Let's watch Let's watch this guy. All right, hold on. Now we're coming up on 2 hours. Well, to folks, good night. Good night. I'm going to do the outro. Guys, thanks for joining. Like, subscribe or don't subscribe, and comment on this content. Tell us what you guys want to see. Any
Think of that, boys.
I'm going to run the outro, GMT.
Yeah, no worries, brother. I'm still working here, so it's hard for me to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we can do one tomorrow when I'm at home, we'll do one, all right?
Yep, I'm fading, but I'm going to
yeah,
I'm gonna do an outro.
Shut this sucker down, mate. Let's do this. Thank you, guys. Thanks for supporting Cap. He's a fucking legend, man.
Anyone want to come on the back? Yeah, we might do a little backstream action. I'm not sure. It depends. Feel free to join. Oh, there's no one watching anyway. All right, brother. Talk
See you later,
GMT.
Ciao, boy.
Ciao.